The new year is now upon us, but the Scarlet Knights continue to roll on through their respective seasons. Today, we'll take a look back at the first part of the year because hindsight, just like this year, is 2020. We're on the road to bring you another edition of Scarlet Knights SportScene. Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Scarlet Knights SportScene, a presentation of Cam Sports. This is the program that gives you highlights, scores, and more, and all of it featuring the North Andover Scarlet Knights. I'm Sam Murray, and thanks for tuning in. This time out, we'll be bringing you action from both varsity basketball squads, as well as the varsity indoor track team, and we'll talk to the new head coach of the North Andover wrestling team. But first, let's take the ice and get you to the big game. Coach Peter Marfione's Scarlet Knights squad had only lost twice all season and were in the midst of a 3-game winning streak as they went to face the Haverhill Hillies at Brooks Arena.
On January 4th, the North Andover boys varsity hockey team held court at the Brooks School Ice Arena. The opponent, the Haverhill Hillies. Both teams played to a standstill for most of the first period, but that changed when North Andover's Andrew Perry went coast to coast and found the back of the net.
And now the Scarlet Knights take it up. That's Perry with it on the right boards. Perry takes a shot, scores! The Scarlet Knights capitalize on their chances.
The Knights went into the locker room at the end of the first period with a 1-0 lead. They came out looking to extend that lead, and 5.5 minutes into the second period, Michael Hardy found himself in the right place at the right time.
And coming out with it, trying to get there. That's Rowe with a shot, and score! Rowe with a shot on the doorstep. There was Hardy. Hardy took it and just fired it past the goaltender Rogan.
The home team just kept on rolling, with Jimmy Boyle lighting the lamp just 6 minutes later.
Once again behind the net. North Andover pressing in front. They try and get it to Fagan. Loose in front. Score! Right there.
What an offensive surge by the Scarlet Knights.
And just waiting for it in front.
That was number 14.
Yeah,
I believe
that was Jimmy Boyle. Jimmy Boyle with his third goal of the season.
A few minutes after that, the Knights got another, and Hardy got his second.
Moving toward the net, just couldn't get it really cleanly. Oh, in front, the shot, score! They set him up in front. That was number 8. That was Hardy. Hardy with his second goal of the game.
At the end of 2, North Andover led by 4. Throughout the game, the Hillies were fighting to get on the scoreboard. And with 7 minutes left to go, Brendan Fitzgerald finally solved the puzzle of Patrick Green.
Oh, okay. So here we go. Oh, boy. As going down there is Berube. Shot goes in and a goal. And Haverhill finally on the board. They didn't score on the power play, but they got there shortly thereafter.
Overly aggressive back-checking on a breakaway chance gave Haverhill an opportunity to add another goal 4 minutes later with something you don't see that often, a short-handed penalty shot.
Picks up the puck. Goes in wide on the right side. Oh, and it's just wide. Green staying with him the whole way.
But Patrick Green stood his ground, as he did for the rest of the game, and the Scarlet Knights came away with the 4-1 victory. Head coach Peter Marfione was very pleased with his team's effort.
Yeah, I was proud of the way they played. They played hard all game. The one checked really well. The D played well. We had a good performance from Patrick and I thought Tim and Sean stepped up tonight, played really well on D. And then Patrick had a great game, saved the penalty shot. That goes to 4-2. They're right back in the game, and he stopped that, and we were able to cruise on to the victory.
After that, the Knights faced another 2 opponents, losing a close 5-4 game to Lowell and then blanking Medford 3-0. They returned to Brooks the following Saturday and weren't expecting things to heat up as much as they did, either outside the rink or on the ice itself.
Saturday, January 11th, was an unseasonably warm day, and not the kind of weather you'd normally associate with ice hockey. But it was still time for North Andover to face Concord Carlisle Regional High School. And though the Patriots had only 1 game in their win column all season, they came to play on this day. Like they did the week before, the Scarlet Knights started the scoring in the first period.
Knights pass back to the point. Oh, that's a beautiful pass, a beautiful block, I should say. And right there, shot by Brewery in front, and score! A lot of action going on in that zone. A block, puck comes out, and then they finally put it in front of the net.
The 2 teams went scoreless in the second period, but the visitors evened up the score to start the third.
Doherty takes it, but then, in front, and a goal off the face-off. They had somebody camped out in front, and Green just wasn't ready for it.
However, the Knights went back on top when senior TJ Fredo cashed in one of his chances.
Over to Berube now. Berube, center, and score! Berube put it right on the stick of TJ Fredo, and Fredo buried it.
However, a penalty to Fredo later in the period gave the Patriots a chance they also cashed in.
Pass, left face-off circle. Centering pass in front, and a goal! And I believe that's Stevenson again. A power play goal.
Concord Carlisle's efforts were starting to show results, and with more of that effort, they saw more of those results.
Loose puck in front, the shot goes in, and a goal! Bad puck handling in their own zone cost them, as the goal is scored by number 3, Aiden Dowd. All of a sudden, first time today, North Andover finds themselves on the wrong end of the scoreboard.
With seconds dwindling and North Andover trailing 3-2, the coach pulled goaltender Patrick Green to get the extra skater. And though this gamble doesn't work most of the time, the Knights hit the jackpot with 3 seconds left.
He wins it. He'll try and get it back. Goes over now. Maybe one shot. Harold with a shot in. And a goal! 3 seconds left. And Harold! Shot goes in. Oh my goodness! Harold with a goal! I don't know if it hit something in front, but Harold took the initial shot. Might have been deflected somewhere. They gambled. They pulled the goalie. And with 3 seconds left, they have gotten the equalizer.
From there, the clock ran down to 0, and the game was over. Or was it? The teams came back out 4-a-side and started a 5-minute overtime period. With time winding down, North Andover incurred another penalty, and Concord Carlisle, already having a 4-3 advantage in skaters, took a gamble of their own. They pulled their goalie in a sudden death situation to get another skater and play 5-on-3 against the Knights. They got in a few shots and dodged a bullet when North Andover's leading scorer, Cole Fagan, got hold of the puck. Seconds later, Jimmy Boyle would get a loose puck at center ice, and Concord Carlisle's luck would run out.
Drop pass, lost it. And here we go with it now, going for it. It is going to be the score! The goal in the empty net. Jimmy Boyle wins it for the Scarlet Knights. 24 seconds left to go. A short-handed empty net goal. And this is one of the craziest endings I have witnessed.
After the game, Coach Marfione explained the new overtime situation.
Something new we're doing this year, but I thought we played well in it. It's tough to go short-handed in the overtime, and we're lucky enough to respond and get that goal at the end to win it.
So even though there were moments of excitement in the rink here with the 4-3 victory, on the score sheet and on the actual record, it's going to show up.
Yeah, it's just a tie.
Just a tie.
Yeah. So I thought we did a good job to tie. We didn't quit. We came back. We scored that last goal. So it's good that we got out of there with a point.
Since the overtime is part of a trial taking place over the next 2 seasons in the MIAA, anything that happens in that time does not translate into the official results. Simply put, though North Andover won the game in overtime, it goes into the books as a tie. To paraphrase the popular TV commercial slogan, what happens in overtime stays in overtime.
The boys varsity basketball team has certainly seen its challenges so far this season. In their 10 games to date, they have secured just 2 victories in the new season. It's safe to say the young team is experiencing some seasonal growing pains. While the win column may not define success, the box scores spell out progress. Recently, we were able to attend their home contest against the Billerica Indians in a game chock full of highlights, scores, and more. Let's take a look at some of this recent action on this rapid recap.
And here comes the captain, Kyle Moore. He's got to take control of this one. He's going to drive to the basket, off the backboard, no good. Helm rebound, floater is good. Scarlet Knights starting to settle down on defense. They picked up a couple of defensive stops in a row. DeAndre King floating to number 24 is a good Kellen Murphy, who's a little more sure-handed at the top of the key. Good pass to Murphy, nice ball movement to Moran inside. He's clearly taller than everybody else on this court, so good ball movement by the Scarlet Knights, but hasn't led to anything. Coots lines up a 3, it's good. Here comes the trap, Castellanos gets out of it. They find Aiden Helm inside for 2. Murphy didn't want to pick up his 3rd foul. Back to an 11-point lead. Coots driving, knifing his way inside. Aiden Helm, bucket for 2 on a special delivery from Matt Coots. At the end of the first half, it's the Indians 29 and the Scarlet Knights 17. He's about 100 pounds soaking wet, yet he's out playing everyone here tonight. Here's Moore off the screen. There's one right back at ya. Kyle Moore. Here's Castellanos, lightning quick down the court. get into their offense quickly. Coots in the corner. He passed it up. They're going to get it to Castellanos. Castellanos to Moore. Bang! Kyle Moore, look at the ball movement. And the Indians attacking, but Castellanos with the quick hands will take it 3-on-2. Coots over to Moore, Moore to Moran. And we'll settle down. Walensky, corner, sharpshooter, 3! I wonder if it's matchups. I wonder what's going on with that. They need someone inside as Moore count it for 3. Good find to Williams inside, a little hesitant down low, but that opens it up for Castellanos, who drains a 3. It's the final score here from Crozier Gym. The Billerica Memorial Indians 70, the North Andover Scarlet Knights 47.
The boys ended up losing that game by a final score of 70-47. Kyle Moore, the standout senior for the Knights, led the team with 12 points, all coming in the second half. The Knights come off a busy week in which they played 3 total games. They opened the week with a tightly contested loss to Lowell on the 14th, followed by a trip to Pioneer Charter School of Science on the 16th, getting their second win of the season. They wrap up the gauntlet by welcoming the Swampscott Big Blue on Friday the 17th at Crozier Gymnasium. Now on the girls' side of things, the Scarlet Knights were only able to manage 5 wins all of last season. This season, under Coach Jess Davini, the ladies have already eclipsed that win total, and they're only halfway through their 2019-2020 schedule. I had the opportunity to talk with Coach Davini after their big 6th win of the season, as she goes from the head of the class to the top of the key in this edition of Ask the Coach. All right, I'm here with the head coach of the North Andover girls basketball team, Jess Davini, who, I mean, I had no idea this, but you actually teach in Andover. So my first question to this is, what would really be, what's it like to teach, in Andover when conversely you coach at their biggest rival in North Andover?
Yeah, it's pretty funny that I work in the Andover Public Schools. I'm a school social worker at one of the middle schools in Andover. But being able to coach in the town I live in, I think North Andover is a really awesome thing. I don't think I could do my job as a school social worker so much in the community I work in. So it's nice to be close. But when it comes time to playing Andover, it's definitely a rivalry that exists despite me, but it is amped up a bit because I have teachers, at work always saying, "Oh, you're playing Andover tonight," and so it's fun. It's fun.
Now you're in your second year at the helm, obviously for the North Andover Scarlet Knights, and recently on Tuesday you picked up win number 6 against obviously Lowell. And what's important about that one is it was obviously the 6th win of the season, but last season in your first tenure as the head coach, the team only registered 5 wins. So, what's your immediate, obviously feelings after that, just getting that win against Lowell and particularly win number 6? Yeah,
I mean, it was a hard-fought W for us. Lowell played a really tough game, but we were happy to bring out the W there. The girls were well aware it was our 6th win and that it beat our record from last year. So it definitely feels good to have had some success already this season and already have gotten to that point. It ups the level of confidence the girls have and what we could possibly do and to be able to reach the potential this season. So it's feel good, definitely, but I reminded them yesterday we're halfway through the season and we have to continue to work each and every time we set out on the court when we play a game because everybody's going to be out to get us and we need to withstand all challenges.
Now, just from what you noticed from last year, what have really been the key differences from last year's team as opposed, to this year's team? Because it did return, a bulk of the players from last season. So again, just what have you really noticed that's been different from last season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it is that they have returned. I have 10 returners, and so they know me, I know them. And I think, one of my players said in a previous interview that there's less adjustments that had, and getting to know me, less of that. We know each other, and they know my expectations. I also think we've had the addition of 3 freshmen that have really, pushed some of the previous members during practice and made them better, and have also contributed in the games. And we're coming together as one cohesive bunch, and we've really enjoyed this early success. But believe me, we are not stopping here. Yeah.
Now, you did mention that you had those 3 freshmen, that have really just, stepped up. But in terms of them, have there been any players, including those obviously 3 freshmen, that have really made an impact that you didn't really expect going into the season?
Yeah. I knew that the 3 freshmen were really good basketball players. They put a lot of hard work into their game. They're constantly shooting after practice and just really putting in a lot of hard work. So I wasn't super surprised, but at the same time, you never know. You're a freshman on a varsity team, and Hannah Martin has had a wonderful few games for us, putting up some points. Starting as our point guard. And that's a hard position to start at, especially as a freshman. But she's taken on the challenge, and we have Jackie Rogers and Ella Flanagan in there battling, at practice and when they get the time on the court. And I expect them to have a wonderful future at North Andover High School.
The season's still young. You're through 10 games, but for you and the team, what are the really goals that you expect to make for yourself and obviously hopefully accomplish throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, sure. So we talk about individual goals for each game, team goals for each individual game, and we have those set. But I think bigger picture, we definitely want to make the state tournament. We're in a Division I North grouping, and so that's a difficult goal to reach, but I really do feel like we're halfway through. We need 4 more wins to get there, and I really feel like we can. But we need to take it one game at a time and make sure that we focus on what we need to do as a team, doing all the simple things. I think the girls might, I think they go to bed dreaming of me saying, just do the simple things. We need to focus on ourselves and do the simple things. So, really focusing on ourselves and making sure we go out and win those games that we should be winning, and know that we can win. And then giving those top opponents a really good game and maybe coming out victorious. It'd be really fun to beat one of those top teams.
I lied. Actually, this is the last question. So I was at the game on Sunday against Central Catholic, and I talked to one of the parents of one of the captains, Sarah Melody, and he said that one of the catchphrases of the season has been "enough said," because in the season preview, she said,
"We're making the tournament." That's enough said.
What are your thoughts on that catchphrase?
I loved it. When I saw that, I loved it. It just shows a level of confidence and a level of desire, right? You need to want it to be able to get there. And I think that, Sarah Melody definitely wants it. She wants it in every aspect of her life. I can just see that on her. And I think she's a great captain, along with the other 2 captains that have really brought the team together. And we're living by that. Enough said, right? And being able to go out day in and day out and just withstand the challenges and be a successful program.
We recently traveled to the city next door, Lawrence, where the Knights had an appointment to take on the Central Catholic Red Raiders for some Sunday afternoon hoops. Let's take a look at some Scarlet Knights basketball, and to quote Martina McBride, this one's for the girls. The Knights ended up losing that contest by a final score of 63-51. Hannah Martin led the cavalry for the Knights, finishing with 18 points. After picking up win number 6 against Lowell, the girls were rewarded with a week off between games and will face the Chelmsford Lions on the 21st. Now let's turn our attention to the varsity wrestling team, who is turning over a new leaf with a new first-year head coach. Larry Coughlin was a standout wrestler and state champion in his days as a Scarlet Knight. He's been back in town for a while as an assistant coach, but this season is his first shot at the top job. And though the team has lost more meets than they have won, the new coach still has a lot about which to smile. It's time for Ask the Coach.
The North Andover High School wrestling team came into this season looking to take down any and all competitors. Though they currently sit at 5-8, first-year head coach Larry Coughlin likes what he sees from his young squad.
We got a small team, young team. I'm happy with everyone's, effort and attitude, and that's all I can really hope for as a new coach. We got like eight or nine freshmen. We're missing some weight classes, so our team record might not show exactly as good as I would have hoped, but all things considered, I think we're doing a great job.
The coach told us about some of the standouts on this season's Scarlet Knights squad.
Ethan Ford, our 132-pounder. He's returning all-state placer last year, and I think he's like 16-2 right now. He's a senior captain. Another standout would be Jack Carbone. Similar record. He was a sectional placer last year, and he's 195 for us. And one other, I think, probably be Cam Watson, doing really well for us, like 15-6, I think. Another sectional placer from last year.
Coughlin has been a part of North Andover wrestling since he was a student in the mid-2000s. His schoolboy efforts resulted in him finishing 5th overall in New England in 2005 and winning a Division II state title in 2006. He went on to wrestle at the University of Southern Maine, but then he returned to the North Andover program, first as a volunteer, then as an assistant coach. Now he's the head coach, and that means so much to him.
I've always wanted to stay at this program. I always said that I'd rather volunteer here for 30 years than be a head coach somewhere else. Even if I got my opportunity somewhere else, it didn't matter. I wanted to be here no matter what.
He succeeds Carl Sincata, who led the Knights to multiple dual meet state titles and the Division II championship in 2017. Under Sincata, the wrestling team went 152, 59, and 3. So now that Coughlin has the keys, will he bring many changes to the system?
Not too much different. I think we have a good system here that works very well. We won 5 state titles in a row, and then we won another one in 2017. I think our program kind of sticks to the basics, and we focus on conditioning, and I haven't really changed much, and there's no reason to change something that's working. I'm just kind of putting my own little spin on things, just to kind of slowly make it my own, but as far as changing stuff, there's not much to change.
After spending 4 years as an assistant under Coach Sincata, Coach Coughlin is quick to recognize the efforts put in by his own group of assistants.
One of my assistants is Mike Wilson, who was the assistant before me and was actually senior captain when I was a freshman in high school here at North Andover. He's a great guy, really knows the sport, knows the program, loves the history of this program, and thought it was important. I was so thankful that he was able to come back and help me out. I couldn't do it without him. And then my other assistant, Adrian Polanco, graduated a couple years ago, and he's been phenomenal with us, especially with the younger kids. And he's a little bit younger, so he can still work out with some of the kids, especially guys like Ethan. He's doing a great job, and I think you can't do this alone. You can't coach this sport alone, and without them, I don't think we'd be doing as well as we are.
We already mentioned Coach Coughlin's history with North Andover Wrestling. Did we mention that it was a family history?
That's one of the reasons I kind of got involved in coaching. My sister Danielle graduated in 2013. I would say 2010. I think she was a freshman. I was coming back to help out a little bit more and pay a little bit more attention to her and help her get through what she needed to get through. And it was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had, being involved with her and coaching her through high school, getting her a state title, and as well as coaching her, individual girl championships and things like that.
Even with his positive outlook on things so far, the coach still feels that he has a lot left to accomplish in his inaugural season.
I want improvement. We got again. I said we have a young team. Hoping that they just keep focused on the basics and improving, and all the freshmen that I have right now, I want them to all be seniors in a couple of years. So my goal is really to keep the team growing and improving over time, and I think if we can do that, we're going to be a very strong program very quickly.
We caught up with the Knights recently as they traveled to Methuen to face the undefeated Rangers. Though the Knights did pick up some key wins, the night belonged to the home squad, who wrestled their way to a 48-27 victory. But if the Knights stick to their ways and keep up their hard work, their dedication, and their improvement, then they will go a long way in carrying on the winning tradition of their first-year head coach. From North Andover High School, this is Bill Robert reporting for Scarlet Knights SportScene.
Another group of North Andover athletes is on track for a good return on their efforts this season. It looks like they might even be in the running for a title. They have faced all their hurdles and sprinted ahead. And yes, we are talking about the boys and girls varsity indoor track teams. We checked out their recent meet against Central Catholic and got to talk to both coaches. So we now bring you this installment of Night Talk.
The North Andover Scarlet Knights boys and girls indoor track teams are off to another successful season. Coaches Steve Nugent and Rick Delakai are once again leading their squads in the right direction and will keep their charges running right through the state championship. Recently, the track teams hosted Central Catholic at Crozier Gymnasium, and we brought our cameras along to get a better look at what these teams are doing. After the meet, we were able to get a few comments from both coaches.
How's the season looking so far?
So far, so good. We're at the midway point of the season. We're looking at the championship part of our season coming up. Starts this weekend with the state relays. And I love where both the boys and girls teams are at right now.
Yep, likewise. I feel the same. We had a good dual meet season, in terms of the girls, and we kind of got them where we need them to be going into the important part of the season, which kind of starts on Sunday. The state relays is like the first and what I'll call the crown, the triple crown of indoor track, along with the league meet and the state meet. So this is the first real test that we have this weekend, and I think we're primed and ready for it.
Who would you say your top athletes are?
Why don't you lead up?
Okay, well, I've got a number of them, and I'll start with Sarah Lavery, who is a national class high jumper. My other captain, Emma Martin, is certainly a top long jumper, sprinter. I've got a number of distance runners, Courtney Dahlke, in the 1,000 and the 600 and 4x8, and Layla Gavatnik in the mile and 2 mile. So I have a slew here of top, athletes here that, I hope are going to carry us to, where we hope to be.
Excellent.
So likewise, the track is a huge sport, especially at North Andover. He's got 100 girls and we've got 140 boys. So I'll just say my 4 captains, Jet Stad, Chris Brady, Matt Chico, and Jack Chase. And those are my 4 guys who we lean on heavily. They help with everything from, lineups to filling in where we need them. So there's a lot more athletes we could name, but it would be here all day.
We also asked the coaches what aspects of the season were going well and what things still need improvement.
I think the practices are going very well. We've changed our whole sort of practice schedule this year, and I think it's benefited a lot of people. We have more people doing more things in a 2-hour practice than ever before. And overall, I think our fitness is going to improve as a result of that. No longer do you have athletes standing around for 15 minutes. They're moving all the time, working muscle groups, and I think that's going to pay dividends for us at the end of the season. In terms of things to improve, that's tough because things are going so well for us right now that I haven't seen any glaring deficiencies with our team. We have a talented team. They're running to their potential. So I'm not seeing any of the warts on the team yet. If you ask me a month from now, maybe I'll have a better idea. Once we see how we stack up with the rest of the state. But right now we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think we have a 12-person coaching staff. I think all of our coaches are coaching better this year than we've ever coached before. We get along better and we get to know our kids. To Dell's point, our kids are doing more in the distance area, in the throws area, sprints, middle distance, jumps. I love where we're at as a program. Our kids might be, chomping at the bit for better times and ready to peak, and those personal bests, they're going to come, and it's going to be exciting. So I think my only hope, as far as health, just keeping our kids healthy with, all the illness out there. If we're at full potential, both the boys and girls team, we're going to be in a lot of great meets and right to the end.
Where do you see the team at the end of the season?
well, hopefully on a couple of victory podiums here. Again, we'll have a good idea Sunday at the state relays where we stack up, statewide or at least division-wide. I think we kind of know where we are anyway in terms of the league, MVC league, and we're going to be keying on that meet, to try to win that meet. So, that's our goals are high this season. On the girls' side, we're looking to. We're looking to win on Sunday and win, 3 weeks from now, and then we'll see how we look going into the state meet.
Again, ditto. I mean, I think the boys, we had one of the greatest teams we've ever had last year. This team is very special as well. The sky's the limit. We're going to sneak up on some people because I think everyone thinks we lost a lot of people, including maybe some people in this gym. But I feel like we are ready. Sunday's the first real test. I think it's Central's meet to lose on Sunday for the boys, but I think we're going to give them a good run for their money. And I love our team at the big meets. We've got a lot of big meet athletes, kids who can score points and do really well there. So it's the exciting part of the season.
More opportunities await the Scarlet Knights as next month will bring meets of all kinds, from the conference to the state to the region. And no matter what happens in the course of those championship meets, these athletes have already proven themselves to be true champions. From North Andover High School, this is Jake Bowman reporting for Scarlet Knights SportScene.
And with that, we are officially calling time on yet another edition of Scarlet Knights SportScene, presented by Cam Sports. We always need volunteer crew members to help us cover local sports for the community. If you'd like to help out, just call us at 978-687-6570, or you can come by our new studio at 70 Main Street, Suite 202. You can also send us an email and ask how you can help out. The address is camsports@northandovercam.org. Don't forget to tune in next time as we continue to venture forth into this winter season of North Andover athletics. You can catch all that on the next edition of Scarlet Knights SportScene, the program that always brings you highlights, scores, and more. I'm Sam Murray, and thanks for watching.